Hi there and welcome back. Well, thanks for answering the sales growth planning questions, and we're really looking forward to chatting with you real soon, so look out for our call. So let me now tell you a little bit about what we're going to be doing after we've had a call and confirmed that we can help you. Okay, so we'll ask you a few questions about those answers and then we'll do a bit of planning. Now what we'll be doing is sending you a document. The document is a sales growth planning document. Now this document has been designed to be able to ask you lots of questions, and I would suggest you fill it out a little bit if possible before we get onto the Zoom. Why? Because it will just save some time. Now if you don't know the answers, no big deal. But what we will be doing is taking you through a bit of a journey. Now have some extra pieces of paper because I'm sure we might go off the page, and many times in a sales growth planning session there's lots of questions, and we've got lots and lots of strategies that we've given to hundreds and hundreds of businesses all around the world that have made significant difference almost immediately. So what I'm going to do now is take you through a little bit of a journey of what we're going to do on our Zoom. I will be recording it so you can keep it for later and give you some ideas of what to prepare and also some questions you might want to ask. The first thing is that we're going to talk about where you are right now and what your targets are. We need to talk about the revenue you require. Talk about what requirements you have as far as income and talk about that thing called profit. We'll find out if you're reaching your targets, and if you're not, what's the number we need to get to make sure that the business is running profitably and you're having the time away and having holidays and stuff, and you've got some peace of mind. Now, the next thing is we'll need to confirm what the increases in the sales are. Now, in other words, if you're making X amount and it needs to be Y, we need to know what that is. Why? Because then we have to then work out the conversion models. Once we've done that, we'll then talk about the number of leads that you need. Then simple things which a lot of businesses don't do, and you might do it fantastically so we can zip through it. If not, it might be a big rock that you can put into place straight away. We'll look at some simple KPIs. These are called benchmarks. We call them BAMs, bare ass minimums, which are what businesses need to measure on a daily and weekly basis. Not just the number of sales, but also the activities that your sales professionals are doing to make sure that we can either sharpen the axe, give them new tools, and make sure they're conversions. Now, conversion is not just closing the sale. It's things like contact to booked appointment percentage, booked appointment to show. If we know these numbers, we can then give you the tools and give you some ideas on how to short that sales cycle and increase the conversions. I'll show you some numbers in a moment. Presentation to sale, a big rock, which is called a closing rate. Now, it's another thing called an NSR, which I'll talk a little bit more about during the sales growth plan, and then lead to sale percentages. Now, what's the next step? Now, we might breeze through this, or we might spend a significant amount of time here. Every person we talk to is different. Now, we'll also suggest that you use our mega tool. We've got a great tool that we can give you, and it helps you plan how many leads you need. All you need to do is type in some simple KPIs. You can do some guesswork, or if you know them, bang, it'll tell you how many leads you need and how many appointments you require to make your target and budget. We find this is a great tool that all of our clients have been using ongoingly. It makes a massive difference. Here's some numbers I want to share with you. Now, I'm going to share some numbers. It's really simple, but I'm just going to throw this out to you. So let me ask you a question. How much would a 10% increase in your conversion rate make to your bottom line? I'm going to show you some numbers that you might find interesting. So let me show you them. Okay, let's say we have an average yield of a sale of $2,000 and you're getting 30 leads. The war cry out there on a regular basis is we need more leads. Well, I'm going to throw a little bit of a spanner in the works. So let me show you something here. If you've got a contact to booked appointment percentage of 30%, now that would mean if you do the maths, it's pretty straightforward. I've done it for you. That means you'll get the number is 9. But if we increase that just by 10%, it'll be 12. As we go through the matrix here, we're just increasing things by 10%. We've got a 45% show rate. We increase it to 55. Well, you're going to see 6 people instead of 4. And then we say, well, how many sales will that give us? Well, if you do the maths, it's either 1 or it's 3. That's quite significant change just by having a 10% increase in your numbers. That is a skill model. It is about the tools and what you're using. So we'll find out what you're doing and see if we can get this slight 10% increase. Now, look what happens. If you've got an average yield of $2,000, that would be $2,000. If we go over the other side and made 3 sales, that's $6,000. That's a $4,000 increase. 200%. So would you like 200% increase? If we just increase the conversions, that makes all the difference. So we'll talk about that, and if it's easy to understand, great. If we're not, we'll spend a little bit more time in helping you get that right. The next thing is, we need to review that good old lead generation. We'll talk about your social media. We'll also find out about your automation. If that's going great, fantastic. There are some tricks to the trade that we can streamline stuff so incredibly quickly and make a big difference to the amount of people you see. You see more people, make more sales. But if you have got a poor conversion, it doesn't matter. You'll still burn the leads. We'll talk about your internal and external marketing. Just the other day, I was talking to one of our people that did a sales growth plan and gave him 2 or 3 strategies that he implemented straight away, and he's now using it ongoing. So next thing is partnerships, proactive referral models. We talk about referrals, but are we proactively creating them? Usually not. Lost leader promotions, that's called a cleanup campaign. We can sometimes get, a significant yield in the first 2 or 3 months just by doing lost leaders. Secondary spend, which is a big deal right now, and especially nowadays where primary spend gets the people in, but the secondary spend has a much higher yield. Do you have a call to action? We just did a workshop the other day in our Sales Authority Club, and we're talking about how to use the call to action. Most of the time people have a call to action and it's really clumsy and it's not utilized well. And also we'll talk about how to network. So the big war cry here is increasing your conversion will increase your sales. It's not more leads, but we've got to have the leads. So we'll talk about that while we're doing your sales growth plan. So have an idea of some of the things you'd like to talk about, and we can then plan it accordingly. The next thing is, I want to discuss with you what is a big deal. It's not discounting. It's not having things that you're going to have a reduction in price or giving more away. What we need to do is say, how different are you in the marketplace? Are you an expert? So we're going to go through and make sure that you've got these things and just throw these out there. Ideally you need 5, but we want to be able to say we're the first, we're the only, we're the biggest, the quickest, the longest serving, we have the most, or a branded service. So this is a big deal, and so a lot of people say they have their USPs, but the war cry is you need a minimum of 5. So if you've got a few, terrific. We can just have a look and see if they're strong enough to make a difference. And then you can do some homework later. Now, the next thing is, I think this is a big deal. We need to look at your whole sales process. How do you prospect? What do you do with the initial contact? Do you have qualification tools? Just recently we've been working with a lot of businesses and their tools are really dated. They don't have the tools that help shorten the sales cycle and increase conversion. Explanation, demonstration, that is old school. It's called proofing now. Let's see if you've got a proofing modality. Test closing, price presentations, this is another thing that doesn't get reviewed. I've seen so many businesses with old school price presentations which crucifies and loses so many sales. So we'll have a look at yours, and if yours is fine, terrific. We'll just move on to maybe asking how do you close and maybe overcoming those good old objections. Here's a by the way. If we qualify well, we shouldn't have to do a lot of work in overcoming objections. Look at your referral strategies, and maybe we look at your incoming and outgoing calls. Now, we're not going to do all of that, but we'll just pinpoint a few of the weaknesses and give you some ideas and things you can implement straight away. Answer these questions. Have you upgraded your prompts, your telephone prompts, in recent times? If they haven't been done in the last 6 months, they're dated. Your needs analysis, 80% of the sale is done here. We need to have a look at it, check in those good old USPs and show you how to do a thing called inking. People want to buy from experts, so we'll show you how to do that. And it increases the trust, and we can only move at the speed of trust. We'll look at your test closing processes and have you upgraded your closing model. This may be just one of the big rocks you take away and we can do the damage on. So we'll review those things with you in your sales growth plan and give you some ideas on what needs to be done. And if you can implement them yourself, go for it. If you want some help and we're a fit, we'll talk about how we can help you. Once we've established the things that are working, the things that aren't, and giving you some of the ideas, what we need to do is to make sure you have a clear sales strategy. So many businesses, this is very, very grey. We'll then confirm you have an experience plan. People buy experiences, and we'll just double check to see if you've got the experiences that people are compelled to buy. Next thing is we'll say, well, are you using your calls to action? So we'll have a look at that. If they're all great, well, guess what? We can then go into some other areas to confirm if those things are weak, how much is it costing you? What is it costing you on a weekly and a daily basis if we don't fix them? And I'll give you some ideas on how you can fix them immediately. Our idea here is to make sure that you leave with at least 2 to 3, possibly 4 action items that you can put into place and make a significant difference in your business. So we want to take it to the next level. And look at some of the systems and tools. So it depends. Every business is different, as I said before. So we want to make sure that it's tailored accordingly. And obviously, as we said earlier, let's see how your leadership and management tools are. Maybe you need to drive your team a little bit differently. So the question will be, is this a now or a later thing? If it's a later thing, terrific. If it's a now thing, we've got to find out why and give you the opportunity to take immediate action. Immediate action is where we have a result. Procrastination is the thief of opportunity on a regular basis. So what we need to do also is, if you need to have some connections and resources and businesses that we can connect you with, we have a very strong inner circle. Our inner circle is very strong. It's tried and proven. We use our inner circle, and we can refer you to some marketing people or some digital marketing agencies or graphic people, other experts in their field. So we're going to be doing that too. And if you need them, you'll just take tons and tons of notes. Okay? So we'll have a good time in planning your success model. And after we've done all that, we'll then ask you some questions and see how you're going to implement it. Now, I'd love to help you implement all these. And what we do as a company, we're willing to spend the time to go through a sales growth planning session so you can walk away with a great plan and you can run through it on your own and implement it. And if you want some help and we're a fit, we'll show you how that works too. So I just want to say a great big thank you for watching this video, and I'm looking forward to having a bit of a chat with you in a not too distant future. And once we've had that chat, we'll schedule your Zoom and go through your sales growth plan and put together an action plan that you can implement straight away and kick some goals. So we'll see you soon. Bye for now.